everybody, and welcome to the OSINT Curious live stream. I am one of your hosts here today. I'm Micah Hoffman. Welcome. And I'm joined by two of my OSINT Curious, and I call you all family. I think I'm going to call you my OSINT Curious family member, Nico Dekens. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hi, everybody.
Good. And Christina Lekati. How are you, Christina?
Hello, everyone. Very well. I think the time difference between us shows, but that's kind of fun.
Yes, definitely. And you might notice that we just lost our guest. We will be coming back. Patrick Laverty from Layer 8 is going to come back, and he's going to join us for our live stream. Today, we're really thrilled to have him. For those of you that are doing this, joining us for the first time, welcome, welcome. We're happy that you're here. Down below, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, you will see our website, our username that we use on most of our sites, and you will see our information about the Discord that we run, as well as the Patreon patron site that we are associated with. So if you want to sponsor us, please consider doing that. And as always, please subscribe so that you know when we are online. Now, Patrick Laverty, we are thrilled that you are with us and that you can see and hear us. How are you doing today, Patrick?
I'm doing great. It's awesome to be here. So happy to be here with the three of you and to see all of you again.
Yeah. Well, we are thrilled that you're here with us. And like I explained to you privately before the show, and as most of our audience knows, we're going to be working in Geoguessr for the first half of the show. And then for the second half, we're going to talk to Patrick about all things Layer 8, whether it's the conference, podcast, or just other things that happen to be in his bailiwick. So stay tuned for that at the bottom of the hour. But right now, let's see who's out there on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you're out there on one of those platforms, say hi to us. Let's see, we have LinkedIn user. Hey, Nazrin. Adam, welcome back, sir. Welcome back. Kevin, good morning to you. And Cyberhutch from Seattle. Holy cow, Cyberhutch. It's 6 o'clock in the morning out there. That is pretty impressive.
Early bird gets the worm, right?
That's right. Something like that.
You ready?
What's that?
The coffee. It's perfect with the coffee.
Oh, absolutely. It's good for coffee.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this. We've got a lot going on today. The first thing we're going to do is play Geoguessr. And I'm thrilled that Christina and Nico were not here yesterday when Inez and Steven and I had some challenging Geoguessr countries to guess. For those of you that are just joining us, we play the Geoguessr geolocation game, geoguessr.com. The details are scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. And we play this game so that we can get kind of warmed up with regards to geolocation, noticing things, and analyzing, verifying, and validating data, and just gets us in the mindset of doing good quality open source intelligence. Also, so that we can learn from you all. So we only ask that you do two things. First off, play along with us and make sure that you are not Googling, Binging, DuckDuckGoing, or Yandexing any of the things that you see in the screen here, because we want to just use our brains for this. We don't want to, we know that Google and Bing know where these places are. We want to know if we can figure it out. And the second thing is, if you post in the chat, oh, I think this is Spain, tell us why you think it's Spain. Don't just put it in there, hey, this is Spain. And we will go from there. All right, KJ, back again. Awesome. And Ceci Weeson, welcome. Welcome back. All right, here we go. So as you might notice, Christina and Nico, we are now on 72 correct country guesses in a row, which is our record, and I'm thrilled about it. But as we go through, there's more and more pressure to not screw up. 72 is pretty good. So, all right, so here we are. What I want y'all to do is just tell me where you think we are. Let's do our 360. We're driving on the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah.
Right. Sun is coming from the south, which means we're probably in the northern hemisphere. And it looks like just a populated area. Let's head over this way across the bridge. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think we're in
A
Europe.
sign.
My initial
Yeah.
feeling would say Spain or something, but I'm
Tell us why, Nico. Because
It's
just because the lay of the land. I've been there and it's just like immediately felt like, hey, this looks to me like south of Spain.
okay. South of Spain.
Mhm.
So we see dryness, and we see kind of an arid area with some hills. I could see that. Agriculture. We also have this wine bottle sign.
Yeah, it's about wine. It's everywhere. It's
Wine
wine o'clock
bottles.
somewhere.
I was waiting for somebody to go wine bottle, Micah. All right,
Oh,
let's hop on down the road here, see if we can find some more
to
details.
the building.
Yeah, Nazarene. I saw the TSB on the car too. Do you know what that TSB is? Without Googling it, is it like a store in a certain place in the world?
The trucks and the cars are always such a wild card because you
Yeah.
don't know if they have traveled there or if they belong.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so this is
Ah,
stop.
meters.
Stop.
It says stop, and there's a yield sign. It's funny
And
because
it's
it
a
says
metric.
it is metric. Yep, which means that it's not America, but we've already
Yeah.
determined that. Um. All right, let's just see what we got here. Hey. Sorry.
We're looking for a needle in that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there's a sign coming up. Sign coming up. Stay tuned
Oh,
for
yes.
words.
Yes.
Words. Camino de Santiago. Ooh, look at Nico.
Nico.
It could be Spain.
There is a small map at the bottom, but I don't think it will be clear.
Just
Yeah,
for
there's a
the
map
region.
there, but I can't read it. Yeah, but I mean, this feels like Spain, right?
Could that be Chile with Santiago?
I don't think so. We're in the northern hemisphere
Oh,
due
okay.
to the sun.
There is
That's
a
not-
backside to the shield.
Yeah, let's see the backside.
Yep.
Maybe we. Oh, and it's different.
Oh,
All right.
112.
112.
That's the 911 for Europe.
I think, yeah,
112.
that's Europe.
112. Okay.
Yeah.
But here we have Spanish, French, English, and Dutch, German. Sorry.
German.
So I think that, yeah, that points out to
Yeah.
Europe once again, I believe.
All right, so we're definitely over in Europe. The question is where? We've got a hint that we might be in Spain. Now, in Spain,
So
do they
also,
have...
if you think like that sign, there's Spanish first language on that sign,
Ooh, yeah.
then French,
Mm.
then the other one. So normally you would have the native language first on those signs.
Okay.
And
So here
wouldn't
we have a
the-
stop sign too.
Yeah, wouldn't the native
Mm.
language be on the stop sign?
That's what I was thinking, Patrick. And we've seen that over in Central and South America, that they will have like not a ret, but they'll have a different word there for stop.
But I think around Europe, there is always the word stop.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
haven't seen something else.
All right. So here we have the name of the town, I guess, is Revilla Godos. All right. Let's see. What do you think? To the right? Let's head to the right because we've got like some buildings and stuff down here. Here we go. Oh, there's a sign up here.
Sign.
Can't go over
You
there.
can't zoom in. No.
Nah, you won't be able to see that.
It's about
Oh, wait,
that
what's on
building.
the side of the building?
It's about that building design, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some historical city hall or something.
With a shield in the middle and some
Yeah.
other things.
It's like a coat of arms,
Yeah,
maybe?
that looks pretty European again.
Yeah, but is it Portugal European? Is it Spanish? Well, actually, the sign didn't even have Portuguese on it, right?
Mm-mm.
The sign that we saw. All right.
No.
Okay. So I'm looking here. I don't see anything coming up that way. Let's head back.
Okay.
Let's actually go back to the start and go the other direction. See if we see anything. So Spain, you say, Nico?
Yeah, that still would be my first guess, but
Okay.
would be fun if we find something that confirms it a little bit more. Can we go on that highway? So if we go to the starting point and then go to the highway, because then we can maybe
let's
see
see.
license plate of cars which have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see here. I think we're actually going on the on-ramp, so we might just be going on the highway anyway. Do-do-do-do. Following the train, following the train, following the train, and
Oh, maybe there is a word at the train station.
Adif.
Ah, really?
Okay.
That's so not helpful.
Not even a flag or anything. Come on. Train station, people. All right. So I think maybe we'll try what Nico's suggesting and see if we can jump down onto the road. Let's do that. Back to the start. And down. And down.
Doesn't
Not happen.
No.
All right.
provide the ocean. No.
So what do you think? Should we just go ahead and choose Spain? What's the worst that can happen?
Well, you lose your streak, right?
No.
All right. So
Yeah, you warned us at the very beginning. Now we feel the pressure.
Yeah.
What do
it's
you
my
mean?
coffee. My coffee's kicked in. I'm like, come on, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. All right. So what do you want to do here? Should we go to the left? Go to the right?
I mean, what are the potential countries? Spain and Portugal.
Well, Portugal, I would say it's probably not because that sign back over here didn't even have Portuguese. It had French, German, and English and Spanish.
So if you turn around now 180 and go that way in, because that road also goes the other way, then maybe we can still reach the highway.
Do we have any other countries that we suspect?
I mean, this could be like an island. This doesn't really feel like an island. There's a train on it, so I would imagine it's not one of the smaller islands that speak Spanish. Okay. A LinkedIn user says ADIF is Spain's railway administration. All right, and we saw that on the sign. All right, are you all willing to go on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's give it a try. Let's see. Nico, crushing it.
Nico, you said it from the very beginning. Next time we won't do the effort.
But nobody ever listens to me.
We listen and we validate.
We need to look for evidence.
That's right. All right, so what is that? Look at that. Ooh, that's a crazy license plate.
Isn't that
I haven't seen
Mexican colors on the plate? Mexican flag colors?
Could be. I don't know. It looks, and there's like swirly patterns and stuff. Let's just see. So definitely looks like a hot place. Yep. Some Spanish there.
Grilletas.
What is that?
I don't know. Something grilled, I guess. Somebody
tell
us.
Let's see where the sun is. Sun is high overhead and coming from the south. So yeah, I can. Nico says Mexico. I'm willing to just go with Mexico. Yeah, actually, look at the colors here. We see the green and the white and the yellow. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Maybe a street sign would help.
Maybe, or we could just look.
We can just read the play.
Yes.
North Korea.
North Korea. I'm not. No. All
Maybe
right.
it's an imported car from North Korea.
Right. Yeah. Ford car from North Korea. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. All right. Let's see. We got solar panels up there. And okay. So right now our best guess is Mexico. Let's see about that person. Just shoveling things and sees a Google car. That's the face you make. All right. There's some mountains in the distance, which is all right.
Can you zoom in the parabolica brand?
I think that's the satellite dishes. Let's see. Definitely Spanish. All right, down the hill. Usually down the hill we get better results than going up the hill. Let's go down the hill. It's a sign. Is that dish, maybe? That's just a torn sign. All right. Oh, wait. What's that one? Sometimes we'll get a top-level domain or something off of these. Or just somebody's name. All right.
Colombia.
Colombia if it was Colombia, we would see yellow license plates, and these are all definitely white with green. So I'm thinking not Colombia. Lots of VWs, yeah. All right. Patrick, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I feel like a bat boy getting an at-bat in a Major League Baseball game.
Well, yeah, it's fun. I mean, you know, I think it's fun that we do this stuff.
This is great.
Yeah.
The
It's
logo
fun
is
when we do
from
it
a
together.
cookie. So LinkedIn user says it's Mexico because the logo is from a cookie manufacturer in Mexico, Gamesa. I live there.
Oh, okay. Thank you for adding that I live there. That now we have a little bit more credence and we lend a little bit more value to your comment. All right. So Mexico, could it be that Nico is going to do a 2 for 2? I think so. Let's see if we can find one more piece of corroborating data.
There are a lot of people shuffling there in that area.
There's a lot of shoveling going on. Everybody's shuffling.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, hang on. Let's see if we can grab this sign here. There's a banner. Maybe it says something interesting.
Nico, if it's
Doctor?
Mexico, you can tell us I told you so in the end.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
No, if Nico's right on this one, he has to tell us what the next one is before it comes up.
Yeah.
I like it.
That will be Bulgaria.
It'll be Bulgaria. Wow. All right. So we got the
the
Verity.
phone number.
Yeah, the telephone number is it? Yeah, so it's 3, 3, and 4. So that would also, and MZ maybe from Mexico.
I don't know. It doesn't help me at all. I hope.
There was a sign for Partido Verde, which is a political party. Someone said.
Oh, yeah?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Political party. Let's just see if we can find. All right. So I think what our audience is telling us is that it's Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Now, yesterday we had our audience telling us it was every country under the sun. So not that I don't trust you today. It's just you must earn the trust once again.
But
Hang
they
on,
explain it. They say Partido Verde is a
that's
political
true.
party.
That's true. There's a taxi. Oh, what about that stuff?
And the police car or whatever that is on the right
They don't do
side.
top level domains over there, right?
Yeah, they should. And usually it says like where it is. You know, it's like, oh, we're doing. Ah, there we go.
Ah,
Okay, so
dollars.
Here's the beneficiary. 2.8 billion pesos, maybe. Oh, and I can't even see anything. It's like all I need is in Mexico. Just tell me Mexico.
Mexico. We got
Tuxtla.
Tuxtla is the place. Okay. All right. I'm hearing everybody say Mexico, and I'm willing to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nico? You okay with that, Nico?
I'd say go for it.
All right, here we go. It was correct. All right, Nico. Now you're saying this one's Bolivia? Bulgaria?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
The next one is Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. All right. Here we go.
Doesn't look
Bulgaria.
like.
I'm just gonna select it, man, and we're just gonna. All right, here we go.
I don't think so because they don't have yellow lining there.
And we're driving on the wrong side of the road. See that? That truck's on the wrong side of the road for Bulgaria. Yeah, well done, people. All right, so sun's coming from over there. That's the north, so we're probably in the southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, driving on the left. Wide open spaces. We're either in Africa or Australia. Yeah.
Micah, can you do a 101 on the sun position?
Yeah. So in general, the sun, if it's coming from the south, you're in the northern hemisphere. If it's coming from the north, you're in the southern hemisphere. And if it's way up high in the sky, you're closer to the equator. That's in general where things are. So that's what we're looking at here. The sun's coming over from here. You can see where the little the compass rose is pointing north. So we're looking kind of northeastish. So that would tell us that we're probably in the southern hemisphere. That fails us sometimes, but let's just see. And then the other thing that we do, Patrick, is we narrow it down. Much like in other places, we look for major things like they're driving on the left-hand side of the road. Downtown transport gets a free shout out.
For South Africa, I would expect a different language, right, on a truck like that.
South Africa would have English, and Botswana also has English. But yeah, and so both of those would be possible. But I mean, we would need some other corroborating data to figure that out. Let's seek it out. Definitely a dry area, which parts of parts of Botswana, South Africa, and Australia are. It doesn't feel like New Zealand. It feels too dry for New Zealand, right? Short white license plate.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. So Patrick, there's also so with Geoguessr, there's a meta game. So not only do you look for street signs and license plates and all these other things that will tell you where you are, but there's other things that can help narrow things down. For instance, if you can look down and see the Google Street View car here, you can kind of see that we've got this little blurry area here, but sometimes you can look down and see the actual car. That will tell you you're in certain places, all that. Let's see. All right. So we're just cruising down the road here. Now, Patrick, I'll tell you this. We've actually spent, on one time, we spent about an hour and 15 minutes just clicking down the road until we found something. But in this case, we'll just stop in a half hour. I mean, in 8 more minutes.
Yeah, I did that once on
It's having certain tenacity. That's what you need, right? For us.
Yeah, that's what we call it, tenacity.
Yeah, I did one that was like this, where
it looks like law enforcement.
Yeah, it looks like a police car, and that would be nice because usually it says where they are.
I think it says the word police as well in English.
Crime stop, like that. Of course,
that's something that you would expect police to do, right? Stop crime.
You would hope.
Yeah.
Here, Adrian mentioned there's a sign on the fence. There is. Really hard to see them. Let's see if we can find a different one. Now, what would be interesting is if the Google Street View car is going to pass this police car. That would be fantastic, right? Oh, 10111 for the phone number. Yeah, Flibble, we're trying to figure that out right now. Flibble asks, hey, we're driving on the left. Could this be Australia? It could be Australia. We're also investigating the possibilities of someplace in Africa. I don't think we're going to get anything else here. We're just going to follow these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, there's that little Street View car. Oh, there's a sign coming up on the left.
Yep.
Welcome to Lake.
Yes.
Nope. Lewis Tricart. N1. Let's go to South Africa and see if there's an N1. There's numbered roads. Let's see. Are there? There's R's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here we're just looking if there's even a possibility of this road being there. R's.
And can we do this with Australia too?
You betcha. Let's do it. So hang on. Let's just see. Okay. So Australia. So South Africa. I don't see that. It could be still there, but I don't see it. Where's Australia? So there's a 1. Now that's just a 1-1. I don't see an N, but it could be. Well, and there's also a T. What is that T? All right. Shall we go back to? There's an A. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Australia's. Let's see if we can figure out something else. We've only got 50 kilometers to click through until we get somewhere.
Yay.
Hang on, let's
Well,
see
at
what
the
this
other side. Yeah.
other side. I got it, Nico. It's not my first rodeo. You got this. All right, Musina. And what was the other one? Musina and
Tijuana or something.
yeah, hang on. Lewis something. Lewis Trickart and Musina. All right, so I'm agreeing with our viewers that are saying this doesn't sound like it is.
Yeah.
It is Australia. Let's do this. Let's go up here. Now, remember, please, if you are watching us, please don't go and just Google Messina. We don't want you to do that. We want you to use your brains, and we'll figure this out eventually.
Mozambique. So people are telling us Mozambique. Can you tell us why? What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. See. Okay. Oh, wait, there's an EN 160 up there. C's and B's.
Oh.
That's in Namibia. But I don't see any of the N's over here in South Africa.
No, and a lot of big places in South Africa are Dutch orientated, which those words on those signs are clearly not Dutch oriented. They sound more English-ish to me than.
Okay. We could be over in Kenya too, because Kenya is a driving on the left type of place. We have the C's and B's and A's. All right, well, let's head back to the details we have here. Let's look at the color on the police car too. We have blue.
Why can't we just ask the police for directions?
Oh, they're not that helpful. Sorry, buddy. All right. Yeah. So some of the things that people are mentioning, great guesses. One of the things that we need to do is make sure that we're only suggesting countries where there's Google Street View and where there's Google Street View.
We get Gyro in our LinkedIn saying that 10111 is 100% the code for the police of South Africa. And that was on the back of that police car.
So let me throw this out to Nico and Christina and Patrick. If you wanted to pull up Google Maps and just do what I'm doing here without searching for Musina, is that it? The N1. Because if you can just browse to that's within the rules, right? Yeah, Musina on the N1. If you can figure that out, that would work. Because that wouldn't be cheating. Everybody's saying South Africa. I'm with you, Nico. I mean, these words don't sound much like South Africa, but I've been wrong before. All right. So I'm going to keep going. We've got the N1, Musina, and Lewis something. I should probably go the other way because Musina is actually closer than this place, right? So let's go back to the beginning. All right, we're going to head away from those things this way towards Musina. Okay, so everybody's saying South Africa.
So, Mike, you're saying that's perfectly allowed within the rules, just to like pick a country and zoom into it on Google Maps.
Yeah, as long as you're not searching for the word Musina.
Yep. So there's definitely an N1 in Mozambique.
Okay, Mozambique has an M1. Now the question is, and so people were saying that it might not have Street View though, and that's what this game relies on is the Google Street View. So
if it would be in Main Road, an N1, what I would do is maybe look on the map near Johannesburg because that's the capital, and if it's a main road, it would most likely end up in Johannesburg.
Okay. Could be, yep. And this road, if we look at it, is going north to south, at least in this part. You see the little compass rose over here. So we have a north-south road that is in the N1.
Go back. Look at the front of that truck. Isn't that the South African flag colors? So a little bit to the side where the door is.
One moment. Looking.
So isn't that the colors of the South African flag, the color scale?
Let's see. No.
So, well,
I mean, kinda, but
can you zoom
there's
into
no red.
Johannesburg on the map and see if there's an N1 near Johannesburg?
Yeah, absolutely, Nico. Let's see. Here's a 1. There's an R. There's an M21.
Because you would expect if it's a main road that it would end up near the larger cities or capitals.
Right. So this 1 could be like N1 or whatever, just not tagged as an N. It does Botswana, South Africa, Missouri have street view. Okay. This is a tough one. Just looking across here. Now, any of these could be like N1s or something. So I'm not seeing it, Nico. It doesn't mean it's not there unless it's that 1 right here, which is a north-south road. So here, if we look here.
Somebody's telling us to follow the 1 road.
Yeah. Let's follow it. Euphoria. Muko. I'm following it.
Come on.
So, Micah, I did find it.
You did? Where'd you find it? Where'd you find it, Patrick?
I did find it in South Africa.
There it is. Lewis. Right
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll take for it.
Went to Johannesburg, zoomed out, and then just started scrolling around and found Musina Nature Reserve.
Finally.
Nice.
And there's a blue 1 there.
Thank you for the help.
There it is right there. All right.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Yes.
Yes. Now, see, this is the thing that always freaks me out about this is that, look, we're in South Africa, but we're really close to the border.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the actual N1 road. And also that's a little bit scary for me that we're so close to the border. But all right. Very good.
Ooh.
All right. So that lengthens our streak to 75, everybody. And if you tune in with me tomorrow, you'll hear me ask, where in the world are we? But for now, we are done with Geoguessr. Well played, everybody. Yeah, definitely. Good going, everybody. Nico, I think you called that, right?
3 times. Hat trick.
I'm really, really glad that you're not sour about that or anything, Nico.
I'm not. I'm never sour.
Oh, all right. Well, everybody, thank you for helping us play Geoguessr for the last half hour or so. We have had a lot of fun, learned some about some other countries and some new techniques and stuff. And now we're going to shift our time to talking with our wonderful guest, Patrick Laverty. Patrick, how are you, my friend?
I'm having so much fun. I've never had that much fun playing Geoguessr before. I think because the one time that I pulled it up, it dropped me, I think, in the middle of Nebraska, and I just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's like,
yeah,
it's
less fun, right?
There were no street signs. All the car license plates were all washed out. So, yeah.
It's really, really frustrating sometimes. But sometimes, like, we were playing one time and it put us in, like, South Korea in the city. And then it put us in Japan in a city. And then it put us in Brussels in a city. So it was like, boom, boom, boom. But yeah, a lot of times it's just so frustrating. But there's a lot of different games that you can play on Geoguessr now. I like playing the country streak because there's no time limit and stuff. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you, my friend. You just completed the Layer 8 conference from this past year. Tell us a little bit about what the Layer 8 conference is and how many years it's been going on.
Yeah, for sure. This year was the 4th year that we've done this. So this Layer 8 conference is, I guess I can only claim to be the first. I used to claim to be the only, but I don't know if it's still the only conference that solely focuses on OSINT and social engineering. I know that there are definitely conferences out there that focus on OSINT. There are definitely conferences that are social engineering, but I think we're the only one anywhere that focuses just on those two topics. So yeah, this was our 4th year doing it. The first year we did it in 2018 in wonderful Newport, Rhode Island. And then in 2019, we had it in Providence, Rhode Island. And then unfortunately, the last 2 years, we've had to do it virtually online. So the really good thing about it being virtual is that it makes it much more accessible to so many more people. So we can have so many more attendees from all around the world. Travel isn't necessary, but you do lose a lot of that face-to-face meeting people, little conversations kinds of things. So this year we tried to get a little bit more of that by incorporating more of a conference and networking platform, so people could have some more of those conversations off to the side, which the feedback from that has been great, that people really liked that kind of thing. And it was, yeah, again, a one-day conference with 2 tracks all about OSINT and social engineering.
So why social engineering and OSINT?
That's a great question. I remember, and there's one person that I always give credit to for being the inspiration for this. I remember just sitting around on Twitter one night, I think back in late 2017, and it was actually Rachel Toback who said, are there any conferences that focus on social engineering? Or I think she said, are there any B-sides that focus on social engineering? And my little antennas went up and I was like, no, I don't think that there actually are. And both myself and my co-organizer, Lee Snyder, had been organizing a few conferences for a few years, B-sides Rhode Island, B-sides Boston. And we both decided, like, we're looking for a new challenge. Maybe we can create our own thing. So we kind of stepped away from that and we're looking for what would be our next thing to really build. And then when I saw that question from Rachel, I was like, why not? Let's try that kind of thing. And it probably sounds silly now, but back in 2017, 2018, I was like, I think social engineering might be like the next big thing in this whole information security space. So I decided, let's see if we can just build a conference that focuses on that. And I was really new to the topic and all of that as well. So the first year was really focused on social engineering. And then the more that I got involved with it, I'm sure people are going to think, well, yeah, of course, that OSINT and social engineering are so tightly coupled, so go hand in hand, that for the second year, I figured we really need to have the 2 topics in there together. So it really wasn't until the second year that it became social engineering and OSINT together. So that's really the origin of it, where it comes from. And it's really all just, I'm super interested in those topics, super interested in social engineering, and wanted something that was very specific. Like virtually every InfoSec conference that you go to will probably have at least a talk or 2 on OSINT and or social engineering. But I thought it would be really fun to get all the experts together to be able to talk about those types of things. And each of you here have been presenters at one of the Layer 8 conferences in the past, if not this year, Christina.
Yeah.
So it's been a whole lot of fun. And we try to bring in so many different voices from, the super experts like you people, all the way to anybody who is just doing their own original research that maybe, is going under the radar a little bit. For example, one year we had a high school student present who had done his own original research and presented that and was one of the highest rated presenters at the entire conference. So that's one of the things that we really look for, especially during our call for presenters, is that we're looking for a wide array of voices, and we try not to focus as much on the presenter name, but more on the topic that's being presented.
Wow.
Yeah, and the schedule always looks so interesting because, just like you told, you have such a diverse group of people who are talking at your conferences. It's really, and for me, it's good that it's online because it saves me a lot of travel, and it's a little bit more convenient with the time zone differences. And you record it, so now we get to see it online. So if you cannot attend it, you can even watch the video. So that's really cool. I noticed some of them were already being dropped online yesterday, I think, or today.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah, we do put the conference videos on our YouTube channel. So we have our YouTube channel at /c/layer8 conference. People are always asking whether the presentations will be available afterward. And the answer that I always give to people is that it depends on the presenter, because in the past, we have had presenters that either say, no, I can't let you release this for whatever reason. Or I have also had presenters say, yes, you can release it. But then afterward, they say, well, I accidentally slipped and said something in my presentation that can't be public. You know, somebody's going to get mad, so don't release it. So that's why I always tell people I can't guarantee that any specific presentation will be made public. So the only way to see it is actually by going to the conference. But I also really do like the accessibility of it being online. So one thing I am trying to figure out, and I don't know how difficult this will be when we do go back live in person next year, will be to do it both ways, to also stream it live if the presenters allow us to do that, which will be incredible if we can. It's, you know, basically doing a virtual conference and a live conference together, which probably makes me an idiot for even thinking about that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've just taken something that's already been a challenge to execute and amped it up tenfold. But you know what?
But it would be so great if this could happen. I wanted to go to Layer 8 since the first time you guys started with this conference. And I think you have evolved a lot from the first year. And the combination of talks is really good. And it makes a lot of sense to combine OSINT with social engineering because they go hand in hand. I would love to attend the future ones. I'm willing to travel, but the online version is definitely easier for us, harder for you.
Yeah. And Christina, if we do have it in person next year, you are not allowed to attend it virtually. You must come in person.
I will come and I will bring a pie.
That'll be awesome.
Although I cannot beat InfoSec Sherpa's pies.
Maybe I can carry that pie for you.
Yeah, Nico, we need to in person as well too.
Maybe I can eat that pie with you.
In Rhode Island.
Very neat. And that's I think one of the best things about COVID has shown us that we can adapt to doing more things online, whether it's 100% online type of conferences, or I've seen conferences where they are now opening up their call for presentations so that the presenters don't have to be there in person. Presenters can not phone it in, but Zoom it in. And the networking is such, and the commonness is such that it's really easy to do. So I love that the conference is not only more accessible to people, to attendees, but also to those presenters that maybe just don't want to or can't travel.
And the other thing that we actually did this year that I personally was very skeptical of at the beginning, but I think it might have even worked out better. Christina can probably also speak to this a little bit, is that we asked or highly recommended that our speakers pre-record their presentation. And that was in part because last year we had a presenter with the worst luck possible. Last year we did all of our presentations live, online, virtually. And one of the presenters, 10 minutes before his scheduled speaking time, had a power outage through a thunderstorm at his house. So he did not get to do his presentation live. So what we did this year was we highly recommended all the presenters pre-record, send it in, and we played those videos according to a schedule. So we didn't just dump them all at once. We had volunteers available to play the video at a specific time, but we also had the presenters available to answer questions at the same time that the presentation was happening, which I thought was really neat and helpful. Because I think a lot of times attendees will hear something 5, 10, 15 minutes in a presentation, be like, what did you mean by that? And when it's live, we can't just keep interrupting the presenter and say, can you explain that? But this year, I think that sort of thing could actually happen where the attendees could ask questions and the actual presenter was there to answer the questions as the presentation was happening. And in that way, it was all through a side text chat. So it wasn't going to interrupt everybody else that was attending. I'm wondering, Christina, what did you think about how that worked out?
I found it extremely interesting because also as a presenter, you're going to think, okay, did this come across the right way? Do they have any questions of that? Should I have elaborated more? And when they had the chance to ask for a clarification or for a thought that they had coming up during the presentation, it was really nice that I was there. I was able to respond to it right away. You had the option to send out questions to an open chat for everyone to see, but also through private messages. And what I observed was that there was a hell lot of interaction even before the conference started in the platform. And last thing that I want to point out is that it acted as a resource as well. We had chat groups for book recommendations, we had chat groups for favorite talks, etc., etc. And there were people that learned a lot of things already before the conference started from all these recommendations and interactions with the speakers and with the other attendees, which was really cool. And the fact that we could talk with others during our presentation.
Yeah, I thought that worked out really well. And if I'm guessing most of the people that watch this live stream are fully familiar with Christina and her expertise. I remember Christina came on the Layer 8 podcast, I think more than a year ago. And I release a new podcast episode every week. So I get to talk to lots of people. There's 77 episodes of the Layer 8 podcast out there. And if you're interested in it, you can get that wherever you download podcasts from. And, like I said, I talked to lots of different people. And I remember as Christina was telling her story where she had to find somebody at a company that was stealing company secrets, she just went through and told the story. And literally my jaw dropped as she was telling this story, because I remember when it was all done, I think something was probably lost in translation when she was done. I just said to her, I'm like, that's not fair. And her ex said, what do you mean that's not fair? He was a criminal. I'm like, no, I mean, it was like not fair with the way that Christina used psychology to track this person down. We're so used to investigators going out and finding the criminal and going and catching the criminal. And I guess I will kind of ruin the ending a little bit for you with the way that she did it. Was she didn't go out and find the person and go catch the person. This is even worse. She made that person come to her. Can you imagine that as an investigator looking for a specific criminal and saying, come here? And this person did. Just as she was going through how she did all this psychology and social engineering and the OSINT and putting it all together, I was just like, this is amazing. And I remember last week getting very similar feedback to her presentation, which was broadening your social engineering skill set through psychology. She's an amazing presenter and a complete expert on this topic of merging together the psychology with social engineering. It's incredible.
Wow, thank you, Patrick. I'm blushing very much here. That's
yeah.
Really kind. Does it show?
Thank
you very much.
A little bit, but it's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just to kind of do the same thing to Nico, I guess, a little bit. If no one has heard the Nico podcast episode, it was another incredible one where Nico was given a name. Was that correct, Nico? You're given a name of a person and asked to find, is this person a jihadi as they claim to? And that's all the information that Nico had, was just a name. And like
a first name. A first name.
Yeah,
right? Not even
that was incredible.
Yeah. Just a first name, and then go find out, is this person actually a jihadi? And if you listen to the Layer 8 podcast episode that was with Nico, he steps us all the way through how he did the OSINT to find this person. And I won't ruin the ending for that one, I guess, to either confirm that this person was or was not a jihadi. So I think the real incredible thing listening to that was just how Nico went through each of these steps in order to—
and how persistent.
Yeah, it's just an amazing thing how those skills can really help somebody.
Do you mean next? What about my podcast? I love how we have Patrick on, and Patrick has taken over the live stream. He's like, let me tell you about Christina. Let me tell you about Nico. Patrick, let's
Micah.
back to you. Do you do social engineering and OSINT for your day job? Or you do cyber, or do you do like restaurant management, or what have you got going on?
Yeah, I am a pen tester for Rapid7, so I definitely do all different types of pen tests, whether that's web applications, corporate networks. But yes, social engineering is definitely a part of it. There's really, I think, 3 major types of social engineering engagements that we do, which is either going to be phishing through email or vishing through phone calls, or in-person physical social engineering, trying to access a facility. And so far I've done 2 out of the 3. I have not done the physical social engineering yet. I haven't actually tried to get into a facility, which is something that I'm super looking forward to. I've gotten so much information about that sort of thing. But I really do have a lot of fun putting together the pretexts for doing the phone calls and the phishing to try to figure out, what sort of information that I can get from people at a company that could help a malicious actor get, whatever bad things that they could do to a company. So those are some of the things that I have fun with when I get assigned to those types of topics.
So, Patrick, why don't you tell us about a time when you used OSINT in a really cool way? It can be for whatever, as long as it's safe for our audience. You have a cool story for us?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I don't really get to do deep dives because I think most of you can probably, from your own experience, know that sometimes the OSINT can take a while. And I guess sometimes it also probably just pops right up for you. I think the extent of the OSINT that I will often get is when I have to do some of the phishing or vishing types of engagements. All I'll be given is the company name. And they'll say, go find what you can and then go after, up to this number of people. So from a super basic way, if you're not familiar with the ways that people are going to go after your company, I'm just going to start with LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn. ZoomInfo are a couple of the places that I'm going to start, and just start scraping names from there and see what I can figure out. I remember there was most of the phone call clients will have something specific that they want us to go after. They're like, okay, see if you can get somebody's password or something. And those are, those are fun in themselves, to try to get somebody's password over the phone one way or another. But there was another one that just said, we don't really care what you get. Try to get as much information as you can. So I paired up with somebody else at my company, and basically they gave us the scope for our phone calls were going to be the help desk and the IT department, which is probably about as hard as it's going to get when you're making phone calls. So really what we did for that one was we figured out through OSINT that it was an international law firm. So they had law offices all around the world. And we were just trying to make lots of different phone calls over and over again and just build information to gain our information, our OSINT, just through the phone calls. And even if we just got one little piece of information each time, that would be enough. So the first thing that we did was we called the help desk to try to find out what does it take to get a password reset. And the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to try to validate you. So like, okay, who are you? What's your company ID? What's your company phone number? What's your company desk number? It's like, great, that's our OSINT. That's the information those are the types of things that we want to go after. And we figured out that company ID is something that it's not public information. We can't really go find that. So we needed to figure out a different way to do that. And eventually, one thing that we did while we were building on that was that we figured out through our OSINT was that there was a technical, an IT person in their London office. So one of the things that we did was we also found one of the junior attorneys who was visiting the London office. So we called later in the afternoon US time to the help desk in Texas. And we said, I am this junior attorney. I'm just visiting in the London office. It's 10 p.m. and we have to go to court in the morning. And this person, Bob, set up this portal for us to be able to get our case files from. Well, Bob's out of the office right now because it's 10 p.m. here in London. And the website isn't working for us. Can you try to log into the website? And the person was extremely helpful. And they were like, oh, well, if you can't get in with that, maybe you need your ID. I'm like, yeah, I think that's probably the problem here. And it's not working. He's like, well, did you put in the correct ID? I'm like, I think so. Can you validate it for me? And he looked up and
can you tell me my ID? That'd be great.
He told me what my ID was. So now I had a valid ID that I could then go back and call the actual help desk. And when they asked me those validation questions, I was like, yep, this is my name, this is my ID. And it was even great where I was calling a different IT person and she was extremely skeptical about who I was. You can just tell it in somebody's voice when they're like, I don't believe who you are. And she was like, let me check something. What's your ID? And I was like, sure, yeah, it's this. And she's like, oh, okay. What do you need? I was like, yeah, I just need to know what's the, which Wi-Fi that I'm supposed to be using. What's the SSID? What's the access point? She's like, well, it's this. Why don't you know that? I'm like, I just forgot. I'm sorry. Bye. So that entire engagement was all just, I think it was kind of not really OSINT, I guess, but intelligence building through each of those different phone calls and having a different piece of information that they were looking for, and was able to build some rapport with them as we went.
Well, and the neat thing about that is it was incremental, and at each point you had a different goal. My goal is to figure out what I need to get a password reset. Now that I know I need these pieces of data, let me go out and find it. It's very analogous to OSINT work that we do. We have a goal to do one thing, but in order to achieve that goal, we have to do these other little steps along the way, side quests, if you will. Right, Nico?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I find it pretty interesting that you figured out that you needed someone on the other side of the pond, in essence, to help you move forward in this particular task to get that answer. That's pretty neat. That's super cool.
Right, because I definitely did not want that Texas IT person calling Bob and saying, what is this portal that you set up? And I made sure that I waited until it was 10 p.m. in London so that he wasn't going to do that. And he was being extremely helpful, and myself being an attorney calling the IT person, and I stressed the urgency. I'm like, my papers are behind this portal. I can't log in. We have a hearing in the morning. I need to be able to get in. And he was helpful with that.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
Yeah, really cool that you mentioned intelligence building, because we say with my team, we say there is no failed call. If someone is suspicious, try to get it like one small piece and move on to the next one and use what the previous person told you. Really cool that you say that here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to just kind of build it all and just fill in all the gaps. And then, from the very beginning of having no information and just being, yeah, okay, I'm going to call you back later, to eventually a couple of days into it, just be able to call up anybody and say, sure, yeah, I have all that information. Give me what I need now. And they're like, okay, here's what you need. And it was fun to be able to walk through that and build that whole profile.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the neatest things for me about moving from cyber into OSINT is we did the same type of thing when I was penetration testing websites. You start out with the URL, and then you have to figure out, how does the site work? What does it connect to? What can you get from it? Here you start with the name of a company or the name of a person or whatever, and you build this profile. And in building that profile over in the hours and days of your work, it's actually kind of interesting to see where things go and what you can get.
Yeah, those types of engagements are a whole lot of fun. And like I said, usually they'll just say, just go get a password out of somebody. And it's like, okay, that's relatively easy, I guess. We have various pretexts that we might use where I'll set up a fake web page, a login page that looks just like the company's login page, and just come up with a reason for them to go to it and to log into it. So those are kind of easier.
I think I've gotten those emails from you before. Huh.
No, that wasn't me. No.
Oh, right. The other Patrick Laverty.
Mike, I just need you to sign in here to give us feedback about the conference.
Exactly, the layer 8 things, and immediately suspicious of every email from Patrick now. Cool. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing your stories. For those of you that don't know Patrick, he's on Twitter as PLaverty9 or PLaverty9. And Patrick is one of those amazing people that is a true community builder. And that's one of the reasons why I love associating with him and love calling him my friend. So thank you for being on the show, Patrick.
And now it's my turn to blush.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Cool. Well, everybody, it is that time when we say goodbye. But before we do, I want to just remind those of you that still have a few more days in your week and some time on your hands, that Wednesday, Thursday, and I think Friday as well, we're going to be back here doing these live streams. Tomorrow, we are switching the time. It'll be 1800 hours UTC. We use UTC since we have people from a lot of different time zones. If you're over here in the East Coast of the United States, that's 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. tomorrow, East Coast time. On Thursday, we'll switch back to this time, 9 a.m. East Coast time or 1300 UTC. Friday, we switch back to 1800 hours UTC. So it's bump, and we will be back. So tomorrow, I think I am flying solo here. And what we're going to be doing is some skills-based things. I don't know if we're going to maybe use some OSINT tools. We're going to explore some cool techniques. We'll see what you all want and what I feel like doing tomorrow. But we're going to have some fun. Once again, Patrick Laverty, thank you for being on the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great.
And Nico, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Christina, always a pleasure to be here with you.
And always my pleasure to be here with you, and definitely with Patrick. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners who helped us with some challenging Geoguessr and had some really good conversation during the Patrick Laverty segment. Thank you for being here, and everybody, until tomorrow.
Stay curious.
That actually worked.
That was insane.
We can now end the live stream.